So I'm Joan again, and welcome to the 5-day Learn to Read Music Challenge. I'm so glad all of you could join me today. If you haven't already, just type in the chat box where you're joining me from. Also, if you're catching this on replay, just type in #replay. And so let's go ahead and review what we learned yesterday. Now, yesterday we learned the C major chord, the F major chord, and the G7 chords. And we put those with Mary Had a Little Lamb. We found where those chords live, and we put that there. And the day before that, we had learned to read the treble staff, the E, G, B, D, F. So from bottom to top, you've got bottom line E. The next line up is G. Middle line is B. Next line up is D, and top line is F. So E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine. And then our spaces are F, A, C, E, and that spells face. And we know that quarter notes get 1 beat, half notes get 2 beats, and whole notes get the whole 4 beats. And we know our finger numbers: ones, our thumbs are ones, our indexes are 2s, middles are 3, ring fingers are 4, and pinkies are 5s. We know the names of the keys and where to find them. So let's go ahead and dive into the bass staff and the grand staff. So this is known as the bass clef right here. This little thing right here is known as the bass clef. Just as this right here is known as the treble clef. These two signs will tell you what hand you're going to play in and where you're going to be playing at. So if you see the bass staff, then you know, if you see a bass clef rather, then you know that it's going to be G, B, D, F, A, C, E, G. You're going to be playing that with your left hand. If you see the treble clef, you know you will be playing that with your right hand. There's a few exceptions, but especially for beginners, the treble clef is right hand, the bass clef is left hand. So let's go over this bass clef right here. Now, just like the treble clef that we've already learned, there's 5 lines, there's 4 spaces. And we've got E, G, B, D, F, F, A, C, E. So we go from bottom to top. So from this bottom line to the top line, bottom line E, top line F. Now here's the bottom space F and top space E. So it's just kind of inverted there. Let's go on to our bass staff. Now, our bass staff is also made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces. Now, we're going to say the names of the lines and spaces from bottom to top, just like we did with our treble staff. So this bottom line right here is G. The next line up is B. Middle line is D. Next line up is F, and top line is A. Now look at these lines. You've got G, B, D, F. Now if you take out that, you've got G, B, D, F right there as well. We're starting with we're starting with G instead of with E. So it's G, B, D, F, A. And then our spaces are A, bottom space is A, next space up is C, next space up is E, and the top space is G. Now, how are we going to remember that? We can remember the spaces of the treble staff much easier because that's just face. Everybody's got a face, so you can absolutely remember face. You can remember the treble clef, the treble staff, spaces. Well, we can give each letter, we can give it a word. So just like we did every good boy does fine, well, we're going to keep the same topic, and we're going to start with G down here. Let's say good boys do fine always. Good boys do fine always. Every good boy does fine, so good boys do fine always. Okay, so what about the spaces? Face is so easy to remember. So what about the bass staff? So the bass staff right here, we've got bottom space A, next space up is C, next space up is E, and top space is G. So we could say all cows eat grass. Now, you can definitely say that. I have not met a cow that did not eat grass. Every cow I've met has ate grass. So, now if you look in your workbook in day 5, you will see there's some visual aids on here in day 5 that show low C all the way up to the F right above middle C. Just like the treble staff, the names of the bass staff are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it just repeats A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The only thing different is that we will be playing with our left hand. So that's really about the only thing, and then just learning where those notes fall. Now I want to put both the treble staff and the bass staff together. They are joined together by a brace. Now you don't see it here on this visual. You will see it on this one. So let me go ahead and take this down. Let's do this. So, and this C major chord right here, they're both joined together by a brace. So you've got a line joining both the bass staff and the treble staff together. So you have the treble staff on top and the bass staff you have on bottom. Just think of the tones. You know, the right hand is playing the higher notes and the left hand is playing the lower notes, so it only makes sense to put the bass staff for the left hand on bottom and put the treble staff for the higher tones on top. Now as you advance in your piano levels, you will start to play both of the staffs simultaneously. That may sound overwhelming right now, but it's really not that bad. So let's go on. In the workbook, I included a page called the Grand Staff Lines and Spaces. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. So the Grand Staff Lines and Spaces is going to look something like that. Now it shows the treble staff playing the middle C all the way up to G. So you've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And it shows the bass staff playing from bottom line G all the way up to the space right above middle C, which is D. Some people call it middle D. Now let me clarify something for you. And I got rid of this visual aid and I still need it. So let me put it back up. Middle C. Let's go back to middle C. Middle C is written on a legend line in between the treble staff and the bass staff. So you've got middle C right here. You've got the treble staff right here. Bass staff right here. So let's go through it. Okay, so you've got G, B, D, F, A. What comes after A? It's going to be C. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now this space right here in between the bass staff and the treble staff, this space right here, that's B. Now what comes after B? The top line is A, this space is B, And then we've got right here on this little ledger line right here would be middle C. Then you've got the space in between middle C and the treble staff, and that is D. And then you've got bottom line E, F, G, and it just keeps going. So I hope that ties that all together. So you've got G, B, D, F, A, C, E, G, B, D, F. And it just keeps going on up. Okay. So let's look at the C method grand staff. I do have that. The C method grand staff. I have that right here in the workbook. And I also somewhat have another visual right here. Please excuse the 7 that's written there. That was for a different project and I needed something big enough to show you. So right here, let's take a good look at the C method. Now the very first thing that you want to remember is we've got middle C. So middle C, like I said earlier, is written on a ledger line in between the treble staff and the bass staff. So there it is, right there, right in the middle. You've got top line A, next space is B, and then you've got middle C written on a ledger line, then you've got next space is D, and then you've got bottom line E. So we've got our middle C right there. Okay, so what the C method is, and I kind of explained this, I believe on Wednesday, on day 3. The C method is that you locate all the C's and then you can find all of your notes from there. Some people find this extremely helpful. Some people it doesn't matter to them. So we've got middle C right here. And let's go up first. So the third space up is your other C. And then you've got 2 ledger lines above the treble staff, and that is high C. So you've got middle C right here, C, above middle C, and then you've got high C up here. So if you look at, here's our top line F, right? Top line is F. This space right above F is G. This little ledger line right here is high A. This space right here is B. And then this right here, this ledger line right here, is high C. So you've got middle C, third space up is C, and then 2 ledger lines above the treble staff is high C. Let's tie that all together with the bass staff. Again, middle C, third space down is C. This is where you're going to play with your left hand. It's going to be the C located right below middle C, right here. And that's where you're going to play with your left hand. Okay, and then we've got 2 ledger lines below the bass staff, and that is low C. So we've got bottom line is A right here, bottom line is G. This space right here is F. What comes before F? This ledger line right here is E. And then we've got this space right here, which is D. And then we've got this ledger line right here, which is C. So that is the C method. I hope that this has tied the C method together, all together for you. And my screen keeps blinking for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I hope that has tied the C method together for you. Now the lines and the spaces of the bass staff, again, they're from bottom line G to top, just like we do on the treble staff. So G, B, D, F, A, A, C, E, G. So All cows eat grass, good boys do fine, always. Now, what did we say about the C major chord consisted of yesterday? We had the C, E, G, and let me go ahead and put that other visual back on here. I don't know what's... My Zoom seems to be glitching for some reason. I apologize. I hope it keeps just glitching for whatever reason. Okay, so we've got C major chord right here. Let me see if I can get it straight. Okay, C major chord. You've got C, E, and G. So we know that the bottom line is G, B, D, F, A, and the spaces are A, C, E, G. All cows eat grass. So we know that the third space down from middle C is C for your left hand. So we've got C, next space up is E, and top space is G. This is the C major chord, so you've got 5, 3, and 1. So this is what the C major chord looks like for the left hand. Now I'm going to go ahead and just show you what the C major chord looks like for the right hand. You've got your middle C right here, and then you've got bottom line E right here, and then you've got the next line up, which is G, and that's 1, 3, 5. C, E, G, and that's what the C major chord looks like for your right hand. Now we discussed the G7 chord for your left hand. We discussed that yesterday. This is what it looks like. It's this right here. So we've got our C, E, G, and remember we keep our hand in on the same keys. Now we're going to stretch our 5 down from C to B, right here. Now we keep our 1 on G, okay, and we're going to play our 2 on F. So this is our G7 chord, which is G, F, and B. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera on and turn that one off because I don't know what's going on with it. It keeps glitching very badly. So I'm going to go ahead and put this onto the keys. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let me turn this camera off. Okay. Okay. Well, there that went. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties today. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Now let's look at Mary Had a Little Lamb. There's my C method. Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's going to look something like this. So go ahead and grab yours out from the workbook. Now notice that the first 2 lines, the right hand plays the melody, and the left hand has got the C major chords and G7 chords. See? Play the melody with your right hand. C major chords, G7 chords, C major. Okay, so that continues down through this line right here. Now it flips the script. Now your right hand is playing the C major chord and the G7, and your left hand is going to be playing the melody, which is exactly the same as this melody here. Now you can go ahead and grab a pen if you need to, and mark down what the names of those notes are. In fact, we can go ahead and do that now. We've got E, D, C, D, E, E, E. Okay. This is D, 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 E, E, E. So, you know, this line right here, it's going to be the exact same for this line down here. Because the left hand takes the melody. Ooh, I made a mistake. Okay, and this line is going to be the same as this bottom line. So we know that this is E, D, C, D, E, 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 D, D, E, D, C. So it's going to be the exact same thing. Okay, so with all of that right there, let's play through the first two lines. So these two lines right here, we've been playing this for the past few days. So let's go ahead and let's play through it with just our right hand. And then we're going to play through just the left hand, and then put them together. So it goes something like this. You find your your group of two black notes closest to the middle of the keyboard. You press those two, and then with your two, you slide to the nearest note to your left. That's middle C, and then 2 on D, 3 on E, 4 on F, and 5 on G. Now, to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's E, D, C, D, E, 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 D, 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 E, G, G, E, D, C, D, E, 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 D, D, E, D, C. Okay, so now let's find our C major chords and our G7s that we learned yesterday. Take your 2 and 3 and find the group of 2 black notes below middle C. Now put your 5 on C, 4 on D, 3 on E, 2 on F, and 1 on G. Now your C major chord is C, E, G, and your G7, you just stretch that 5 down to B, and you play your F and G. Okay, so the first two our G. So we're going to keep our left hand in the C major position, and we're going to play E, let's look at that C major chord for the right hand. That's C, E, and G. C, E, and G, and then our G7. Same thing. We're going to stretch our 1 down to B, and we're just going to play 4 on F and 5 on G. Now back to C major. C major, C major, and then G7. Stretch that 1 down to B, and then play that 4 on F and 5 on G. Now back to C major. Now let's put both hands together. Remember, the left hand is taking the lead here. Okay, now let's just play the song completely through. Okay, so now let's go on to questions. Let me see if I can get this back up. Here we go. Okay. There's a chat box right there. Okay, so put any questions that you have for me. Go ahead and put those in the chat. Let me go ahead and turn this off. So this week only, today is the last day. I have a 25% discount on all of my courses on my website. If for some reason it does not automate whenever you go to sign out, whenever you go to, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Checkout. Whenever you go to checkout, if it does not automate, there is a place for a promo code. And the promo code is challenge for this week. I'm going to go ahead and put a link into the chat. And you can just click that link and go straight to my website, my online piano studio. And you can look at those courses there. So, and I've also got some free courses as well on there, so don't forget to check those out. So let's see here. Okay, let's go on to questions. Let's see here.